Without a strong middle class, there is no economy. End of story. You came here for the truth. Today, I want to talk about a few important aspects right now as it relates to both the economy and the stock market. The first thing, the most important thing, is about you, the uneven rise in what we have seen right now today. Some people doing better than ever before, and others really struggling to get by. We'll talk about that first. The second thing I want to look at is the supply chain, the mess, and what one company is doing to alleviate some of the pressure. And the third is the rise and fall. As you have seen with some stocks going up like crazy, some others have actually entered a bear market. I've got all of that and more. Let's begin. So let's start right here, taking a look at this chart pulled from Statista, the uneven fallout of the inflation surge. So while you do have some people benefiting from inflation, many people, in fact, the bottom 80%, are not able to benefit whatsoever. They're losing out every day. Share of US adults saying that the recent price increases have caused financial hardship for them by household income. So you could look at this, break it down. I'll pull up the highlighter. Severe hardship for those earning less than 40,000. You can see right there, 28%. Moderate hardship, 42. Okay. So that is a large percentage, 70% essentially saying, look, it's giving me trouble. And then when you move up, of course, not too many people experiencing hardship when you're at 100,000 or more, but that depends. Because if you're 100,000 living in the middle of nowhere, well, you're probably doing okay. But if you look at places like San Francisco, you might qualify for housing support. I forget the term right now, but essentially you can't afford a house, so they will help you out. So it depends on the 100,000, but I think you get what I'm talking about, okay? Look at this. Higher prices are hurting consumers. Take a look. As you can see, the UMich consumer sentiment, a statistic I've shown you many times before, and also the bad buying conditions. These are going very clearly in opposite directions right now. And why? What's happening here? Well, with inflation, it is ruining everything. So many things are more expensive than ever and yet hard to come by. I know somebody that's waiting for a fridge at the particular design that they wanted, and that fridge had been ordered back in March. I mean, crazy. You would think you just choose another fridge, but nobody expects things to take this long. Oh, don't worry, it's going to be another week. Oh, don't worry, it's going to be another month. And suddenly, 6 months later, you still haven't got that product you want, okay? And small businesses as well, the NFIB, single most important problem, percent reporting inflation. That's right, looking at this rising as well. And what does that matter? Oh, who cares? That's a business. These particularly small businesses are going to be dramatically affected by prices rising, and that's why they have not been able to keep up and have been increasing prices that we have noticed. And it's not just small businesses, of course, all across the board. Kraft and Unilever and Eli Lilly, and just name any one of these conglomerates, they have all increased their prices. What does that mean? You, the consumer, has to pay more, and that links directly in with the bad buying conditions. This is just something that I see the argument all the time. Is it inflation or is it deflation? And I have to say, you have to understand the difference in between, number one, QE and the stimulus provided by government, but also what's going on in the corporation side of things and what we have seen historically. We have high levels of inflation, 1970s going all the way through, high levels of inflation, right? Yes. Okay. And then after that, after that was all done with, the governments and I should say the corporations, they all got together and they said, you know what, we're just going to go across the board and we're just going to slash all of our prices. Wait a second. No, that didn't happen. That's right. Because once the prices have risen, they don't go back down. Enough of the nonsense. You could have deflation of assets. You could have deflation of your wages, but the prices of stuff that you pay isn't likely to go down. That's the least likely of all of them. Let me know. Agree or disagree? Put it in the comments below. If you agree, hit that thumbs up. If you don't agree, thumbs down. Let your voice be heard. Saudi Aramco warns of social unrest if fossil fuels ditched too quickly. I would extend this to talk about how the prices of people paying for their fuel, for their energy, is a simple matter of life and death for many. And what do they do when they've got problems? They take to the streets. Inability to produce pushes Class 8 orders to the lowest number in 26 years. So this is just showing us the big rigs, the big trucks. Right now, the numbers are down. Oh, wait a minute. That would normally be a sign of, well, the economy is declining. Not in this case here. They want to order, but they can't. There's nothing there. There's nothing there coming on. Okay, now what about the one company who is trying to go to a different level? Amazon with the unlimited wallet, the bottomless pocket. Amazon is making its own containers and bypassing supply chain chaos with chartered ships and long-haul planes. Unbelievable just to see what they are doing when you have an unlimited checkbook. What can you do? Well, this is what they're doing. The containers were a problem, and the ships. This right here for their own products, not for third-party sellers, of course. Third-party sellers, if you out there are a seller on Amazon, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is very difficult at this time to deal with all of the tightness. It's official, 96 container ships are waiting to dock at SoCal ports, in addition to 40 waiting close to shore. Another 56 are further out, and I've documented that previously as well. So there's more in here if you are interested. I'm just trying to highlight the fact that this is an extreme scenario and it all impacts you. Now, moving on to the stock market, this is talking about Tesla, and we can just look at the stock markets in general. This happens to be the SPY, but you can look at the four broad markets and they have come up. Now, if you break it down and look at the smaller time frames, you will notice that there's a lot of lower highs, but supposedly what we are seeing here today in terms of the hard to say without the sensors and the machines picking up on what I'm talking about, the situation that's spreading around, if you know what I'm talking about, that concern apparently is no longer an issue anymore. So the market's going to love that. That's why the market went up in this trading session, and the next trading session we will see. But the Jerome Powell situation, I think, is much more important. And that, of course, may not come for a little while. So the market could actually be, and I mean, I'm looking down right here. There's a lot of green. Let me just tell you that. Tesla's streak of declines reaches 4 days. EV maker stock initially fell as much as 6.4% to $950. Now, $950, it's high, but thinking about where it was, I think it was over 1,200 at one point. It is officially in a bear market. And I'll talk more about Tesla, or actually Elon Musk, in a second here. Shock to crypto daredevils joins list of scary market omens. Retail absence is unwelcome development for the bulls. Cryptocurrency sell-off, not a good thing for equities. As I have said many times before, cryptocurrencies, whatever you think of them, they are kind of like the canary in the coal mine, because it tells us where the risk is, because there's a lot of speculation taking place in cryptocurrencies today. And so that's kind of the first place in some cases, and also a 24-hour market. So if something happens, you might hear about that before the US markets open, and it might reflect in the crypto markets prior to what happens inside of the US markets and so on. This happens to be the cryptocurrencies on the smaller time frames, and we're looking at Bitcoin at around 51,000. Remember, just recently dropping to, just for a moment here, dropping to under 42,000. So that happened Of course, quickly, China, as I told you, I think it was yesterday's video, China moves to boost the slowing economy. People's Bank of China reduces the amount of money banks must hold in reserve, signaling concerns amid a property market slump. I said that they were probably going to do this, and didn't take very long, literally a few hours after I posted that video. Here they were, the reverse, ratios, the reserve ratios, were reduced. Get that stimulus so that the banks will lend out more money. That's what that means. China's bond rally may stall after the PBOC signals limits to easing. Who knows? Okay, they reduced the RRR by 50 basis points. Is that going to be the resolution? Of course not. But we have to see this long term, okay? This right here. Now, normally I would never share a video of Elon Musk or anybody else. But when it's really good, I have to let you know. I posted about this in the blogger community section of the channel. He talks about infrastructure and the role of government, but he also talked about a lot of different things, and it was powerful. Doesn't matter what you think of the guy. What he said here, particularly in that first 15 minutes, they had to change topics because of how stern he was and the things that he was saying about government. So I would highly recommend checking this out. All the links will be in the description for you to take a look at. And if you've seen this video, please let me know in the comments below what you thought of it. I'm going to be watching and seeing what you have to say. I want to know if we are on the same page. If you agree in what's happening here, if you want to support the channel, simply click that thumbs up button because I do appreciate that very much. Clicking that one button helps me out, so thank you very much. And if you haven't seen this video yet, you definitely want to check it out. So just click it and I'll see you there.